Here's a cool little exercise that you can do if you want to improve your shuffle and your drum and bass playing. I got to a point at one time where I just wanted to improve actually both areas of my playing, but primarily I was going after just kind of working on my drum and bass chops. And then I found out later that it also had a big effect on my shuffle because it's pretty much the same sort of left hand movement. So I mentioned before, a lot of times I make up my own exercises, and it's purely based on or whatever's involved to making that particular thing happen. As you know, the best way to improve something is to do it like 1,000,000 times in a row, right? Repetition fixes everything. So I made up a little exercise for this, just based on the left hand sort of mechanics needed to pull these two types of grooves off, and it worked like gangbusters. It was great. So let me show you what it is. Now this particular exercise is strictly for left hand mechanics. The one single movement that's gonna help you make these grooves happen. And it involves a little bit of snap of the wrist and a little bit of the pulling up of the butt end of the stick. So once you get that sort of movement down, then these grooves will be a lot easier to pull off, even at really fast tempos, because it's just all muscle memory, right? Just like everything else. So this is basically what I did. Was I just came up with a simple little repetitive thing where I was doing that one specific movement over and over and over again. All I did was just kind of cut out that little tiny movement, and I just put it on a loop and just did it over and over and over again. So it's a super simple exercise, and it basically goes like this. What I'm doing is I'm just playing straight 8th notes with my right hand, just like that. So if you're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and what I'm doing with the left hand is I'm sort of creating this kind of gallop type of feel. So it's basically like a 1, A2, A3, A4, A1, A2, A3, A4 with the left hand. And what I'm doing to make that happen is it's a combination. You're kind of doing this at the same time, and I'll break this down for you a little bit slower in a second. But I'm sort of making those two things happen at the same time, where I'm pulling up on the butt end and I'm just snapping the wrist down like lightning quick to make that accent happen. So the exercise sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a tap and a snap with the left hand. So you're just kind of tapping out that first note, and for the second one, you're really just kind of, snapping that wrist down towards the snare, and you're also just kind of, it helps to pull up the butt end of the stick as well, because it just helps with the strength of the snap. The second thing that I realized, especially when I started working on it on the kit, is that it also really helped. One of the keys to making this thing easy is when you snap out that accent, to snap out the right hand at the same time. And it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know why it works that way, but when I'm on the kit and I'm playing it, I'm sort of snapping out the right hand at the same time on the hi-hat. But the cool thing is, you don't notice it. You don't hear it. That sort of movement is strictly to help the left hand, because a lot of times when you're doing hand movements, for whatever reason, they're easier when you do them in unison. So when I'm playing those grooves on the hi-hats, I'm snapping out that right hand at the same time. So it's the exact same movement that I'm doing. That sort of pull up of the stick and snap of the wrist. I'm doing both hands in the same time whenever I play accents. And it just really makes the accents come out even every single time you play them. So as with everything else, learn it slow, learn the mechanics and the movement first, get everything down, because I mean, especially if you're going to be doing this with the drum and bass thing, you're going to be playing this thing at 160 BPM and up. So if it's not clean, it's going to sound horrible. So make sure you get the mechanics down, work out that movement, get all the cobwebs and the bugs out, and then you can speed it up and it'll sound great and everybody will think you're a genius.